a post-Brexit mess as Italian driver's lorry is held for 55 hours at a UK border post. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline of a post-Brexit mess as Italian driver's lorry held for 55 hours at the UK border post. Antonio Soprano said he was told to walk to a McDonald's for food as there was none in Sevington. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share us across social media so others are notified of this video. We know of stories. Many stories out there of people being stuck at ports and border posts and whatnot of waiting. 55 hours. More than 2 days. A huge chunk of this person's life. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit with the huge chunk of a person's life. But just a chunk of their life spent sitting there in a lorry waiting for the board, waiting to get past so they can get on with their job. It's incredibly embarrassing. This should not be happening in any way, shape or form. And why this is happening? Because of Brexit. Because of the red tape. Because the borders and the barriers we put up upon ourselves. This is not helping anyone. Let us be clear. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of money. But it's been done because we weren't allowed to have a second vote. We have a majority of people in our country, according to the majority of polls and the majority of people, and you literally have to just go down on the ground with enough places, going to enough constituencies around the country, and people will tell you that leaving Brexit, leaving the EU was a mistake. It's not that hard to find people out there that says it. We haven't benefited. I'm still waiting for those Brexit benefits that people keep going on about. Is this a Brexit benefit, making an Italian driver's lorry held for 55 hours? Is this supposed to be a Brexit benefit? Nah, it's not. But this once again highlights just another problem for Brexit. And once again, those who scream for Brexit, who fly its flag and shout sovereignty, once again cannot give me some of the benefits of Brexit. Not any concrete ones, that is for sure. An Italian lorry driver has described the UK's new post-Brexit border controls as a mess after his lorry was held at government-run border for more than 2 days. Antonio Spolarito, 62, who was stopped while bringing plants into the country from central Italy, said he was offered nothing to eat during his 55-hour ordeal and instead told by the border officials he should walk to a McDonald's more than a mile away to get a meal. He was told to get out of his truck and walk to a McDonald's more than a mile away to get a meal. Why should he have to do that? That's so outrageous. He was offered nothing either. Talk about inhumane. After eventually being released from Sevington facility in Ashford, Kent, into the early hours of the morning, he was then clamped and had to pay a £180 fine after difficulties finding a place to park in the middle of the night. Wow. That's just bad. That's just bad luck. It comes just over a month after the government brought a new post-Brexit rules on the 30th of April, which requires some lorries transporting plant and animal goods from the continent to be checked at designated border control posts along the British coast. The checks, which have been put in place to stop diseases coming into the UK, are supposed to take place within 4 working hours, but some lorries can be held longer if inspectors identify a potential risk. Soprano, who drives for Italian haulage company Marini, was taking a lorry full of plants from Italian suppliers to companies across Britain when he was ordered to drive 22 miles from Dover to the Sevington border post for inspection. The truck is loaded with plants at the Innerischi and Mascarica nursery in Plesca, Italy there. So you can see it all being loaded up full of plants there. He said that when he arrived at the facility, he was immediately ushered to a waiting area and ordered to wait, with border officials taking his keys. So they told him to wait, and they took the keys away from the truck. What? You don't trust the driver to be... Why would you take the keys away? Soprano, who speaks no English, oh God, said no effort was made to him to explain to him what was happening, claiming he was just repeatedly told by officials to wait. The waiting facilities for drivers consist of a small room with a few tables, with only water provided and no food. He said they told me to go and eat at McDonald's, which was 2 kilometers away. So by foot, I ended up, in the end I found a supermarket and we had no services apart from a toilet. The lorry was held because of concerns about 10 produce Lucerinia plants in the load, which border officials thought could be carrying harmful pests. The concerns were raised hours after the lorry arrived at 6:30 p.m. on the 26th of May. An official said the delays occurred because plants could not be unloaded because of health and safety concerns. Oh my crikey. Come on! The least you could do is take him to the bloody McDonald's. You can't even do that. Wow. Like, come on. This is bollocks. The Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said the initial inspection of the lorry was delayed due to the driver having to take an 11-hour rest break, known as a taco break. While at Sevington, he said that the absence of a load plan and problems with the way the lorry was loaded meant extra measures were needed to safely check the plants. What did they use? Google Translate to talk to these people because they didn't speak Italian. Officials eventually signed off the plants and allowed the vehicle to be released after just 1 a.m. on the 29th of May, about 55 hours after it arrived. Prohibited from spending the night at Sevington and having to find a place to rest due to EU driver regulations. Wow. So at 1 a.m. he was told... So after he was signed off at 1 a.m., he was around 1 a.m. he was told, all right, you need to bugger off. And it's like, I've got nowhere to... It's middle of the night. I need to get some sleep. I was like, not our problem. Talk about disgusting. Like, this is just outrageous. Soprano had to park in the McDonald's car park as the nearest lorry park was full. He woke up to find that his lorry had been clamped and he could only be released once he had paid a £185 fine. He said, I understand they need to do the controls, but this behaviour is not normal. It was a mess. I don't know why we have to wait for so long. I have to go to England for work. I have no choice, but this was not normal. The incident comes weeks after The Guardian reported that some lorry drivers were held for nearly 20 hours at Sevington border control post after an IT outage caused huge delays for perishing items coming into the country. Marini, if I mispronounced the names, I apologise. The chief executive of Marini, which sends 15 lorries a week to the UK, said the incident was surreal and that the new checks and customs requirements since Brexit have made sending goods to the UK much more problematic. He said the company, which has been transporting goods to the UK since the 1980s, was now considering abandoning its UK routes due to their new controls, as well as fears among drivers around the migrants entering their lorries. The incidents come after repeated warnings from horticultural trade bodies about the practicality of checking plants produce at the border and the ability of border staff to load and unload lorries. Speaking to The Guardian in January, James Barnes, the chair of the Horticultural Trade Association, raised concerns over whether border control posts had the infrastructure and ability to handle diverse horticultural loads coming from the continent. Well, the answer is no. The answer is no. How many times have we had these these problems kicked down the road because they've not been ready? And this problem is going to be thrown right into Labour government's hands, Labour government's hands, when this general election is said and done. And businesses will be screaming up and down, asking for Labour to do something. Do something! Do something! I hope they've got a plan because they're going to need one fast on this because this is outrageous. This is outrageous. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not right for these drivers who are doing their jobs. Like, they understand the checks need to be done, like he said. But there's a way of doing all this. And, like, first of all, it was, for me, it was like, the thing that really infuriated me was how rude they was. Like, they wouldn't let him finish staying parking till the morning, which was nonsense. He got clamped at McDonald's because he had nowhere else to go. He had to walk to a supermarket to find a toilet. I mean, what kind of plague people do this kind of stuff? It's incredibly inhumane. Incredibly inhumane. Really disgusting, really, when you think about it. You wouldn't treat any of your family or friends like this. You really wouldn't. And they're just there to do whatever you might think of other people, of other nations or whatnot. They are there to do a job. They're there to provide business. He's bringing in a business into the UK. That's his job. So you know, I can just see people in the comments going to try and blame him for some reason and all of this. And I'm just like, are you for real? Like, for real? You're going to blame the driver for all of this? Brexit, the gift that keeps on giving, guys. So what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys make of this story? What do you guys make of this Italian driver held for 55 hours at UK border post? Not given any food, had to walk half a mile to find a supermarket just to go to the toilet. I don't know what more to add to this, but let me know what you guys think of this story and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.